Trying to find this on page. Okay, I am back.
Before I get started, I want to thank Audible for sponsoring this video.
Okay,
Right now.
All right. Oh, how's everybody doing? It's your boy Astro, as you know. Tonight, we are going to be discussing
Before I get started, I want to thank Audible.
The course in astrology that we have. We have a beginners, an intermediate, all right, and an expert. And we are so lucky to have this beautiful lady on who happens to be one of the instructors, the astrology teachers in my school. She teaches astrology in the School of Astro Einstein for the second year, or is it third year? Is it third year or second year? I think it's a third or a second, I can't remember. But ever since she has embarked on this beautiful journey of astrology, she has developed an insatiable thirst for knowing more and more, which also sort of gave me the knowledge that this woman will be an amazing teacher. As a matter of fact, she's a teacher from the Bahamas. Her profession is in education, which means that she knows exactly what to do to make sure that you get the information that is needed. She ranges from the island of Freeport, Grand Bahama, but now live in the islands of Nassau. And it is my very, very much privilege to introduce to you to the teacher, the instructor of the intermediate level astrology course in the Astro Einstein School of Astrology. I'd like to welcome you, Dale. Thank you for coming on this evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
technology. Hey, Demetrio, thank you for the great welcome. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear now. I don't know what's going on with the technology. I see you're sipping your cup of tea.
Yeah, tea is my favorite. So this is my nightly cup. I thought I'd get it in while we're on live.
Okay, excellent. So, as you can see, I jumped the gun. I already introduced you as, but tell us a little bit about yourself that most people don't, that I haven't said or didn't, include into your introduction.
All right, so I'm an educator. My in real life job, I guess you want to call it, my 9 to 5. I've been teaching for almost 2 decades, and I've taught from the primary school to the high school level, which I teach at now, as well as tertiary courses with adults. And I also have a mindfulness business. I'm a mindfulness coach for kids and adults as well. And I'm a children's book author. And the book happens about the stars, because I've always been fascinated with the stars and with astrology, even at a young age. So I guess that's a little bit of an addition to what you've already said.
See, that's why I wanted you to say it yourself, because, they would have been like, gosh, you're the same, but it sounds really refreshing coming from you. So you are no stranger to the spiritual community, and by no means, correct?
Not at all.
How long would you say that you were?
How long
would you say you've been on your spiritual journey?
Oh, wow. I believe that I've been on a spiritual journey from the moment I was born. My mother remembers me saying when I was 3 years old, there was this commercial about Michelob Light for the winners. And I tell the story that she remembers me saying the evil of life for the woman, like at 3 years old. So I've always been a very old soul, and always have wondered about the meaning of life. what is life for. I've always been very empathetic, and not really understood how to harness the energy of what was moving through me. But as I progressed along my journey, starting at about maybe, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, I began to really explore spirituality in a deep sense.
But before we get into the information about the intermediate course, give me a little bit about your wellness business. I wanna expand on that. Like, tell me, for somebody who's a novice who doesn't know anything about wellness, what exactly is your business, and how do you operate with that?
All right, so with mindfulness, I tie in astrology and mindfulness, but I take the spiritual aspect of being calm, being zen, being in control of your spirit, and I actually have learned the workings of the brain that help to support that. So as we move through life, we write patterns in our mind. So our mind becomes programmed. We become a program unto our own inside the large program of that the universe already is. We create our own programming. And so what mindfulness helps to do, what I help people to do, is to reprogram, to reframe patterns that they have built in a strategic way, right? And so in a nutshell, that's what I do. I help them to reframe patterns so that they are able to regulate their emotions and overcome overwhelm and burnout. And I do the same thing for children, because I believe that if we give children this information at an early age, then they're not really at a disadvantage later on trying to figure all the pieces out. They have a head start on, leveling up to their true purpose.
Okay, I like that. That's actually, to me personally, I think that's even more needed than anything in this world, is to get our children to understand these things. I think it starts from them. Their generation that we're teaching is going to teach their children and their children's children. It's going to be a norm around the world. So people like you would be considered trailblazers, and I would say, people like us, we honor and appreciate all that you're doing in the spiritual community and what you're doing individually with people you're connected to.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So also, how would somebody find you in that area when it comes to mindfulness?
You would be able to find me primarily on Instagram at *_inspired. And on the Instagram, I have a link tree that can take you to bookings, that can take you to an about page, that will take you to some of my work, some freebies that you can download to do some shadow work, some mindful reflection, some journaling. So that's my main base, *_inspired on Instagram. Okay.
All right, excellent. Now let's talk about astrology. We got to talk some astrology here. I know back in the day, when we had a discussion, we'd talk about astrology, and we'd talk about it in a way that people probably would be like, "Wait, what the hell are these two people saying?" Because as you become more proficient in astrology, it sounds like another language, and some people get sort of intimidated when you start talking about things like, the aspects and the placements and what have you, and rulers of, and what would you say in your experience in not just teaching us, but like in doing astrology, like learning it, what would you say was your eureka moment, that this thing is so accurate that you can't even contain it, that it caused you to go into it more? Like, what was your eureka moment?
I don't mean to be a brown noser, but my eureka moment started when I met you and when you read my chart. And I just knew that this lifelong curiosity that I had, it wasn't just a woo-woo thing. Like, this was some hard and fast, real business. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to know how you were knowing all of this, and how could I use that to transform my life? How could I use that to really transform the decisions that I make, and, how I treat myself and others, my relationships? So that was really the eureka point for me. It just turned the light on that this thing that I've been intrigued in is real and I want to know more about it.
Ah,
I
okay.
remember I would ask you so many questions all the time. I don't know if you got tired, but as a mentor, it was amazing to be able to ask all the questions. So that was the first eureka point for me for sure. And I think the second one was when I realized that we could look at children's charts and kind of guide them and kind of respect the spirit that they come here with rather than trying to package them into something else and build up all the resentment and frustrations and obstacles that we do not knowing, what we're doing as parents, meaning well. So that was the other eureka point, that astrology is such a tool for change and a tool for really transforming your life.
What about your children? You do, like your kids, when you look at their chart, how does it make you feel by watching how they operate compared to their chart itself?
Oh Lord, my children are very true to their chart. Very, very true to their chart. And what it does for me is it gives me a wake-up call and an ego check a lot of times, because I know what their chart says and then I see it. I can't approach a situation the way my ego wants to. So I have an Aquarius moon, daughter with the Gemini sun, and there's so much going on. My son is a Sagittarius moon, so I have to treat them both differently. I can't parent them the same. So it kind of, yeah, I can't parent them the same. So it kind of gives me an ego check. And it also helps me to be more open rather than, contracted when it comes to parenting both of them, showing them love in both ways. And sometimes my daughter would do something as an Aquarius moon, and I would realize my detachment, and I would have to catch myself and be like, wait a minute, let me try to work through that, recognizing where it's coming from. So it's definitely been amazing for me as a parent.
Just poking into your little relationship with your daughter, right? How does parenting a moon and Aquarius child, how does that go?
Well, a moon and Aquarius child can either suggest that the parent, the mother, can be detached, or the least dominant parent can be a little more emotionally detached, or that they can be very unconventional, and depending on where the placement is, can tell you what type of unconvention that the mother is into. And then she's very individual, so trying to fit her into a box, or trying to fit a child with a moon and Aquarius into a box, doesn't feel good for them emotionally. They need to be able to be free. They need to be able to have their own opinions, to rebel, if you wish, against the box, against standards that already may exist. So those are some of the things I guess I would shout out for people who have a child with moon and Aquarius. Allow them to be an individual as much as possible. Respect that they would sometimes think outside of the box. Allow that genius to shine rather than stifle it. And watch out for where you may be a little bit detached as a parent. Just watch out for the times when they may need that love.
All right, that's cool. So listen, you got one of your students who's watching from last semester. That's Leah Martes.
Leah was a very talented student. Very, very talented. It's good to see you, Leah.
Yeah. Well, she's finished her first segment in the expert module, which is the first module is asteroids, which to me is one of the funnest subjects. But the subject is of not all asteroids. We go into the dark asteroids, the ones that make an effect on somebody's life without sometimes shadowingly, not the person knowing it. And that's our first module, was the asteroids. You understand what I'm saying? So for them, it was more of looking at the charts and pinpointing a certain thing. They just finished their exam about a week ago, and in the process of issuing them their results. As I teach the beginners beginners astrology as well, but some of them are right here listening and watching as we speak. So back to your course, which is the intermediate. That's after the module after beginners. tell me, what should somebody expect from your course, from the intermediate course?
It's a journey. So you may start out feeling a little unsure, or maybe you may come to it feeling like you know it all already, but expect your mind to be expanded. So the course in itself is very thorough, and the way that it's designed, it runs the gamut from the many building blocks of astrology straight on up to the more concrete, abstract things like asteroids that you talked about, and aspects and synastry. So I would say expect to come with an open mind, expect to grow, know that you will receive lots of information and that I keep you accountable. And you'd be learning from a teacher who really respects your growth and wants to see that growth. Like, I celebrate growth in the class.
Good. Shucks, I like that. I like that answer myself. So, so what now, technically, what exactly will you be teaching in the intermediate course?
Okay, so in the intermediate course, we learn about the planets and the archetypes. So we already know about all of the planets by the time we get to intermediate astrology, but we go a little bit deeper how they behave throughout different houses and what it can manifest like in different scenarios. We also talk about when those planets are making conversations with other planets, the aspects, which more clearly defines the individual, or clearly defines a dynamic between two individuals when those planets begin to mingle with each other. We also talk about synastry, relationship astrology, and how that plays out. We talk about the moon and the sun, which are major archetypes in everybody's life, and how we can use the knowledge about our moon and sun to transform our lives and to be true to ourselves and true to our emotions and our self-care. What am I leaving out?
Transits?
Transits. Transit astrology, not only our own particular natal chart, but what happens when the planets are moving through our blueprint? How does that affect us on a daily basis? How does that help us to plan things in our life, and how to position ourselves for whatever it is that we may be interested in manifesting?
All right, I like that. What I want to do with you is this, because I want people to understand your area of expertise and how you work and operate. I'm going to put you on the spot, right? You already expected that a little bit, right? I just had to just show you off a bit, if you want to use that term, showing off. So apparently, I want you to tell me about this kid that was just born. And what I want you to do for me, because we haven't done this in a long time, is I want you to sort of break down this child's life based upon the chart. And I'm going to share this chart so you can be able to look at it. And y'all, check this out, y'all. I ain't had no conversation with her. This conversation is by far, I'm telling you, I did not speak to her about this at all. We didn't rehearse this at all. So what you're seeing is pure knowledge and wisdom she's acquired through studying and learning astrology. All right. I'm gonna share this screen. If I could get it as, oh Lord, if I could get it. Tell me if you can see it.
I can see it. I'm trying to scroll in, but I'm just seeing the over the horizon bottom.
All right, there you go. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
All right, let me make sure that everybody else can see it too, because I want them to get this. I want them to see this so they can understand. And all right, so tell me something about this child's relationship to the father.
Okay. So this child's relationship to the father, the child could feel like the father was not there, or maybe that the father was distant, that he was mysterious, that the father somehow was a part of the wounds that he may have had growing up if this is a male child. The father definitely in a transformational force in the child's life. Also looking for the ruler. Make sure I should have put on my glasses.
The Saturn is conjunct the sun.
Yes. Okay, so the father could have been also very strict and very liking to have his own way, having things his own way, very rigid at times as well. As well as he could have been very, very intelligent, a genius perhaps at esoteric things. He could have been.
What made you say that?
Well, he has Saturn in the 8th house, but Saturn does pretty well when it's in Aquarius. So seeing him as being someone that can be a leader in the arts and the darker arts, someone that stands out as an individual in that area, not somebody who kind of just is a follower, but someone who is standing up as an authority figure in that area.
Okay. And what about the relationship with the mom?
Okay, so he's very, very close to his, is this a male or a female?
This is a male child.
Okay, so I would say there's a lot of things going on here when it comes to the mother. Given the fact that he may look like his mother, the mother herself is a very intense character as well. She can be a disciplinarian, but the relationship that they have is one that is very close. He feels very drawn to her, but at the same time, there may be times when he feels like she doesn't really understand his emotions or may kind of try to stifle him emotionally, and not allow his emotions to be free.
Right. So what you're saying is the mom could be like not so emotional and he could be emotional and she's like, you're a boy, just chill out. You ain't supposed to be that emotional.
She may have those deep emotions on the inside, but she's not necessarily going to celebrate them in him.
Okay, and just a few more questions. Based upon this chart, what would you say would be the ideal career for this child?
This one, the ideal career. Okay, trying to find Mars. Where's Mars? I can't see it.
So Mars,
I see it. It's in
Gemini in the 12th house, and its MC is in Pisces conjunct Neptune.
All right. So
and conjunct Venus.
Say it again.
Conjunct Neptune and conjunct Venus in the 9th house in Pisces. Okay.
So I could see this person being a spiritual teacher of sorts, but at the same time, there could be a point in his life where he may feel some draw towards the military or working behind the scenes and in some type of military or policing or defense job, or maybe even as a pilot. But I do believe that there's a strong pull that will keep him going back to a teacher role, a philosopher of sorts, definitely some philosophy drawing him in throughout his life, and spiritual philosophy at that.
Okay. All right. This is very, what's the word I want to use? Very enlightening. Then there's another question that's, most people, how would this child, how would you say their parent should guide them into their career, or how they're supposed to be, their career in this world? What do you suggest to these parents or this parent to do towards this mom to do towards this child to make sure that they are, in alignment with their purpose here? Okay.
Given that he is very philosophical or would bear towards a teaching or philosophical career, in sharing his ideas. How would I want to parent this child? I would say allow him to be an individual, definitely. I would say allow him to be an individual. I would say to allow him to have friends that are very different, where he can feel like he can be himself. I would also suggest that he join groups that allow him to meditate and maybe do yoga, explore Tai Chi, things of that nature. Getting into groups that allow him to open up to this side of himself rather than just perhaps maybe being involved in sports and the regular things that boys do. That's one of the things that I would encourage them. Maybe in mindfulness, just some way that he's able to be around other people that support that spiritual side of himself so that he doesn't feel this sense of being ostracized or so different, like maybe a lot of Aquarius people can feel at times.
Wow. That was amazing. I would say that was awesome. This is the reason why you are an instructor, a teacher in this school. You basically summed up the whole thing. If you didn't know, I just had a newborn born yesterday, and that was day before yesterday.
So
day
you're
before yesterday,
father.
And that was my. I'm
So
the father that you said is stubborn and hot.
That's
And as you can see, that the Saturn is on the 27th degree, which is the degree of the astrologer.
Wow.
Right. So when you see that, and the sun is conjunct that in the 8th house.
So the father being an authority in the esoteric arts was very much on point.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. I just wanted to keep a straight face. You know, I want to be like, look at this, look at this. You just hit the nail on the head. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Right.
Aw.
Yeah, that was pretty good. You never cease to amaze me with how you can decipher delineate somebody's chart, which is actually beautiful. Now, because of your expertise in synastry, I also want to display a little bit, because that's the part of doing the I would call the mindfulness of understanding how to parent a child, because that's really what you do in your business, correct?
Yeah, we have this thing called the Full Moon, and it's a magazine. So a client will come to me if they have a brand new child, or they already have an older child that they maybe just want to connect with a little more. And so then I create a magazine specifically for that child that outlines how do you make that child feel safe emotionally, disciplining the child, what kind of environments makes the child feel alive, what kind of things they should get involved in.
Right. Okay, that's excellent. So what I want to do is I want to display your expertise in synastry. All right. I'm going to use two random people who are not actually random, and we're going to look at their chart. And you are going to sort of give a little bit of your, we're going to do a little bit of Dale magic. Take a look at their synastry. Okay?
Yes,
so
sir.
I want to share this screen so you can take a look and let's see how I'm going to be using Janice. So I'm going to share this screen so you can be able to take a look at this. And on the inside is the male and the outside is the female. Now I know this software is a little bit, it's user friendly, but when it comes to looking at the aspects, it's sort of not that easy. So we're gonna take a look at the conjunctions and the places and the house and the signs, the planets and the houses. So I want you, you've been doing pretty good without your glasses.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this screen really big. All right, I can see
that.
Alrighty. So you want to ask any specific questions or?
Well, basically, let's just say when it comes to the idea of money, when it comes to money and finances, how does the person A, which is on the outside, which is the female, compared to, oh Lord, compared to this person who's the male on the inside, like what does that person bring to them when it comes to finances and money?
So the female is on the outside and the male is on the inside?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So are we talking about joint assets or just about assets in general?
Just assets in general, not the joint assets. We can get to the joint assets afterwards.
Well, then. So I think that the female in this particular relationship brings some karmic lessons when it comes to assets and self-worth. And I believe that some of those karmic lessons are going to show up in this relationship as it pertains to money. So she may have the opportunity to revisit some things that have happened in past lives, or maybe, you know, whatever karma she's reaped throughout her life as it pertains to money with this individual. So that's one of the main things that popped out first. I also think that there's the possibility, and I can't see the aspects, but there's a possibility that the things that she does can make money for both of them. Like she could probably be doing some things. But is this Libra? That second house is Libra?
The second house is Libra.
Okay. But, you know, Mars and Libra can be a little bit different. So I would say that there's definitely some things that she could possibly be doing, you know, to try to bring in money. But I'm not quite sure if I can make the call based on the fact that I can't see the placement of what that Mars is doing. So I don't know if that's healthy
so
or
the Mars is in the 24th degree in Libra. You know, the ruler of that, which I teach in this new school of astrology, is that Juno is really the ruler of Libra.
Exactly.
Her Juno is in Aquarius, conjunct her descendant. So basically, because her Juno is right here, and it's in conjunct her descendant.
And she may even feel like his money is their money, like ownership over the money.
So, just to give you an example of how accurate you are, and if they are watching, this particular, you know, group, I should say, this pair actually said the exact same thing. Not that she feels as if it's, he actually, you know, he said that she stress shop, and he enables her. So basically what you're saying is like she feels as if his money is her money.
Your money is ours. You know, the Libra, ours, everything's ours. She might feel like, you know, everything's ours. She may feel a little entitled. And
yeah, you did a great, that was excellent actually. I would say you hit the nail on the head. That's some of the things that they said in their session. As you know, I'll be doing sessions straight throughout the day, and that was actually one that was said. What would you say that is her purpose in his life? Her being on the outside and his being on the inside.
Her purpose in his life. I think spiritual awakening, enlightenment, to get him to be a little bit more forthcoming, to not hold back on doing the work, but to, like, you know, fast forward on all of the things that he's been keeping locked down, to kind of propel them forward, perhaps. And where is his Mars?
His Mars is sitting in Taurus in the ninth house.
Okay. Yeah, I think that he has a lot of potential for being a spiritual individual, and she may be, her purpose is probably to help him to bring up some of that shadow stuff and kind of like really expand into some more spirituality and his beliefs, and, you know, just open up his mind to some things that he may not have been connected to just yet.
That was excellent. So let me give you a little gist of what we just spoke about. So the first time he ever did a reading, astrology reading, was with me, both of them. And he came from a Christian family, as you can see. His Mars is a Taurus in this ninth house, a sort of foundation. Yeah. And he was really like, let me try this out. And she introduced him to me, to my videos. And he was like, wow, this is amazing. So she basically is honest, but about, you know, his spiritual growth, which is pretty good, is what you said just now. And y'all, if y'all don't believe me and Dale have no conversation about this industry. This is how amazing Dale is at doing synastry charts and teaching the art of synastry. As you can see, she's not a novice. She actually puts a lot of time and effort and energy and years into learning the energies of two persons' charts coming together to form a synastry chart. You know, she is amazing at this. You understand? So I would say, you know, that's truly amazing. Spirit Moon in the YouTube channel says, say me.
You know, that's the favorite part of everyone. They're like, I want you to do me now, do me next.
Yeah. So, you know, that was you know, and Leah's actually right. She said you taught that portion amazingly. So you did a very good job. So that's some of your students actually speaking about how amazing you are teaching. So
Leo was an amazing.
For those ones. Say what you say?
I said, and again, Leah was an amazing student. She always kept me, you know, I was always impressed. I couldn't say it, but I was always impressed. Like I always wanted to hear what she had to say, because she was a real.
I want to tell you this. I don't want to brag about Leah yet. I waited till they received their score from their exams.
Okay.
She's pretty amazing. Yeah. Let's just say that she is she will be a great protege. She is amazing. I would say that. I'm not gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. She right there watching. I'm gonna let her results from her exam speak it. So she can know what's going on. I ain't tell her nothing yet though. I ain't say nothing about their results. So everybody's like, so tell me please. You know, we gonna let them see. So this course, as you know, is a 2-month course. The price is $440 for the module. As you can see, Dale takes her time to teach. Okay, she takes her time to teach. And if we do the maths, and let me do the maths on this. The maths on this is 440, and there's about, how much classes? 38 classes? Let's divide that by 38. That's basically $11.57 a class. You can't beat that with a stick or a bat. Some classes you gotta pay $50, $100 every class or so and so. But these people are getting the stars, the universe being taught to them. And I think that's an amazing thing. All right. So let's just say for y'all who are thinking about, you know, moving from the beginners to the intermediate, you have no idea. You are in great hands. There's no need to guess. As you can see, all right, as you can see, there is no fear. This lady is very, very proficient in synastry and what have you. But I want to do one more example, which is another area that you're going to be focused on, which is transits, right? So transits is another thing that we want to take a look at. Now, I want to look at the United States chart. So we're gonna look at the United States chart, and we're gonna look at because I think at some degree, some point, looking at progress charts will be a sort of a part of it, because progress charts is going into the predictive method of astrology, right? And Dale, we're gonna work out a way where we can incorporate the progress chart into your course. I don't want to overwhelm you, I don't want to overwhelm you, but I also want to make sure that that you love what you're doing and what have you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the chart of the United States of America. I'm gonna share this chart. I'm gonna share this thing right here, and you tell me, and I want you to go to town with it. Tell me what to expect from this, from these aspects and these. Let me scroll up so you can see a little bit more, so you can be clear. All right, there you go. All right, so this is wait. Let me do the progress chart so that you can be able to, because the progress chart, I feel, sometimes could be a lot more accurate based upon what is to be expected. So we're gonna look at the progress chart. Progress chart, opposite, midpoint. All right, so we're gonna go with that. So this is the progress chart of the United States of America. Let's take a look at the transits that are connected to it, so that you can be able to. All right, 1 second. This internet be interneting sometimes, in America. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Give it a second as it. Okay, there you go. All right. All right, Dale. So this is the progress chart of the United States of America. As it pertains to, and the big thing is money. As it pertains to money, what do you foresee coming for the United States in the area of finances and wealth and money?
Okay, let's see.
Take in consideration the progress chart itself.
Yeah.
Looking at certain places.
Okay, so you're asking, what's your question? You want to know what what could be happening financially for them?
How is the finances looking for the United States of America? Like for the people, right? Yes, like for the people of the United States of America, does the money situation look as if it's going to get better, worse, stagnant? What do you see in foretelling this, looking at this chart?
I honestly think that it can get better if a lot of people start taking more ownership for the ways that they make money rather than relying on the system itself. I see there being a transformation of wealth being distributed through more startups, entrepreneurship, rather than the old model of large corporations. I think of a lot of people in the United States begin to look at wealth from a standpoint of entrepreneurship and building their own legacy. It would do well for them rather than relying on the system, because the system itself is definitely going through a transformation. So I don't expect, I expect to see some changes in the way that in currency, the way that we exchange money. I don't know exactly how that's going to happen, but I definitely see that there's going to be something that's going to shift and change the way that money is spent, the way that money is made. And so it would be best for people to begin building wealth on their own rather than relying on systems and jobs and corporations. Just finding ways, individual and as families, to come together.
And what brought you that?
What brought me there is that I see Pluto conjunct the sun in the fourth house. And so whenever Pluto is conjunct the sun, you know that there's some deep transformation that's going on, and the sun being basically the identity of the country. But even though the fourth house, and then the fourth house being in Capricorn, I believe that that represents the home, the hearth, the foundations of America. And that some things are definitely going to change around the way things were versus how they're going to be now. How that's going to play out, I'm not quite sure. But I think a lot of it lies in people taking more ownership over their assets and building, like expanding their families and building wealth and legacy between families, bringing their money together and creating wealth as a team rather than separate. You know, we're trying to do this hustle culture where we're all trying to build money for ourselves. I see kind of like coming together and building together being the way to go.
That's excellent. I think that's amazing. All right. Now, I got another thing. What about in the future when it comes to health circumstances? What, you know, every country has their little pandemics and epidemics, whatever it may be. What do you foresee for the United States as it pertains to any health issues that may arise?
Okay, can you switch the screen over a little bit? Because I can't see the full sixth house.
Oh, okay. What about now?
Yeah, I can see it. All right, so your question was in terms of health? Okay.
The general health of the United States and the people.
Well, by nature, I can see that the health of the people is something that, you know, is always fluctuating. It's not something that we clearly can define. It's like so many different factors that are going on when it comes to the health of the. Can you hear me?
Right.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you now, but you've
Okay.
been going in and out. Maybe it's my internet. I can hear you.
Yeah, I think that more people are already awakening to healthier lifestyle. But what I'm seeing here is that that's going to be really essential, like getting more in tune with feeding the body what it needs, you know, from a mental space rather than just consumption, because they're a consumption culture rather than consumption, more healthy eating and taking more accountability and clarity over what you're taking in, because there's some shady stuff going on and I don't know what it may be, but whatever shady stuff is going on, it's going to affect the health of the entire nation. I don't know if it's going to be more strange diseases coming in or maybe some strange things happening in the food itself, but there's some hidden agendas that are plaguing the general health of people in the United States. And I think that that's going to.
Question, just for general. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just out of curiosity, in the chart, what specifically pointed that out to you?
So whenever you have the moon in any house, you're going to have a lot of instability. And then that's Pisces, which is an area that generally doesn't have a lot of clarity, but you can find clarity in Pisces. The more focused you are and the more mindful you are, you can find more focus. But there's not a lot of mindfulness happening around eating in the United States because we know that's a consumption culture. So I believe that the consumption culture, because of that Pisces, they're just being all over the place and absorbing everything from the outside, you know, just is what causes them to have so much obesity and all these different things. I see that Neptune is transiting through there, which is giving them the opportunity to wake up and to be more aware of what they're taking into their body. But if they're not correctly aligned, and they probably won't be because Neptune is negatively aspecting other things, it means that they're probably going to keep making these mistakes, or that there are some hidden agendas that are going to be happening because it's aspecting Pluto, I believe, that will adversely affect their health.
Okay. Okay, that was excellent. I just out of curiosity, this is not, what do you feel about Pluto going into Aquarius, and especially in the fifth house of the progressed chart of the United States of America? What do you feel about that Pluto going there?
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was trying to figure out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, this is like a bad AT&T call. Okay, so I was saying that I was looking at that Pluto going into Aquarius and trying to figure out, like, how is this going to play out? So let me see where Saturn is. Saturn is also there. It brings to mind unconventional currencies and people take risk with unconventional currencies, which brings to mind crypto and Bitcoin, you know. So that's what that screams out to me, that there's a transformation. And that might be what it is, because the Pluto is now moving from the traditional Saturn and it's moving into this unconventional area, slowly but surely, into Aquarius, which it just screams crypto and Bitcoin and all these different types of currencies going on. That's the major theme that I see coming in. People taking risks when it comes to these currencies.
And you say that because of the fifth house being that gambling house, correct? That house to take the chance and the risk.
Risk-taking, gambling. What's that word that they call it? What's the word? Spectating. That's the word, not spectating.
Speculation.
Speculation, that's it.
Speculation.
Yes. So that's what gave me, like, okay, so this is some unconventional, some different currencies going on, a lot of online currency, you know, because Aquarius is all about the online space. It's about the unconventional. It's about going against the grain. It's, you know, so those are some of the...
What I see, I'm gonna tell you what I get from that also. I get the cryptocurrency, but I also, because Pluto is the ruler of the second house of money and assets, and is moving into, you know, the fifth house of taking chances and speculation in Aquarius, in the fifth house, you know, representing, you know, new invention. And what I gather from this is that they're gonna still try to take, to some degree, control of this crypto or this new way of dealing with money. There's going to be a new wave of how people deal with finances based upon the Pluto transforming, being the ruler of the second house, and also going in Aquarius. I would say a sort of a revolutionary start. And then also it's going to be a little secretive. The reason why I feel that way is going to be something messy about it, is because the ruler of the fifth house is in Pisces. Mm-hmm. It's going to create a sort of like some cloudiness going on, some little bit of shady things going on from the, I would say, the government, if you want to use that term, or of that nature. So I see it. I see that's exactly what I see. I see the idea of something changing, but somebody underlining trying to control it. Like, that's what I see.
Question for you. How do you think that affects the idea of insurance and healthcare system itself? Do you think there's, I see a little correlation, like something sparked just now, that could affect the healthcare system, to afford it, or being able to use that kind of currency for healthcare, insurance? What do you think?
Well, I would see, when it comes to insurance, especially looking at this picture here, this chart, when you come to health insurance, you know, going back to it, let me look at the chart again. Looking back at it, what I see is there's going to be a sort of there's always has been a shakeup, up and down energy behind health insurance. Now I see Venus is also transiting Neptune, the ruler of the sixth house, in the sixth house. And what I see is, believe it or not, I see an increase in like health insurance and in that aspect, because all of these things are going to be happening undertone when it comes to their health. It's going to cause you to be like, boy, I don't know, somebody could drop. So I see a little small pandemic coming around again.
Yeah.
But more people being a little bit afraid and saying, you know what, I need to invest in insurance. But I also see the insurance companies being a little shady with what they're dealing with. So I don't see it being, and that's because of what I see, the Neptune being in Pisces, and the sixth house having Pisces with the moon and the Uranus there, the ruler of the fifth house. I see some gaming going on, some little trickery could be happening. That's what I totally feel based upon what I see.
Yeah. Wondering about that. It's like, this seems a little something.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, it's gonna be some shady stuff. I feel, you know. I would say this, as you can see, there's no doubt about it. Dale is an amazing interpreter of the charts and also an amazing teacher. Now I know that you guys are watching and you probably thinking about joining the class. If I was you, the ones who just finished the beginners, I would sign up to be underneath her tutelage. As you know, Dale gets you ready for the expert course. All right, and the expert course, because what we're looking to do is to create 3 modules for the intermediate, so that when you come to expert, there's no questioning, no what have you. We're going to see how we're going to work that out. But the expert is what she gets you ready for in the intermediate. Dale, what would you say to your future students about them signing up or being underneath your care as their teacher, as their instructor?
What would I say? I think I'll reiterate from, I think I said it a little while back, but if I didn't, I'll say it again, that I celebrate growth. So be prepared.
I was saying, what would you say to your future students? Yeah. What?
I think we had a lapse. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think I would tell them that I celebrate growth and I will be their greatest fan. So come with an open mind and be ready to just expand your knowledge. Just think about expansion, because that's the overall theme of the intermediate course, expanding on the knowledge and being able to get that eureka light when you're able to see how planets interact with each other, looking at your own chart and in the charts of other people, seeing how a deeper insight into astrology gives you so much power to transform yourself and your relationships. So I would say come with an open mind and prepare for expansion. And along the way, I'll definitely be rooting you on and celebrating your growth. And in a lot of ways, pushing you towards growth. And if you feel uncomfortable, know that at the end of the course, you will grow wings, you will fly, and you will feel a lot more confident about astrology.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time, Dale, to come on this live, on this Zoom call, and to, display your skills, your expertise in astrology. For you guys who are going to sign up for her intermediate course, I would say that you are in great hands. You're in amazing hands. And remember, she's a teacher by profession. So she knows how to get you to learn a particular thing, right? I want to thank y'all. Dale, I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. And for sharing all your expertise with me and with us. For y'all,
Breaking up a little bit.
all right.
Yeah, I think I lost you at the last part.
Yeah. That's how these Zooms be doing sometimes. The internet, we live in the Bahamas. We have to struggle with our internet. So thank you all again. I was telling them thank you for coming on and sharing your expertise with us. I was telling them that they are, as you know, you guys are in great hands in Dale's class, in her course, the intermediate astrology. We will launch the information about when it starts. 2 days from now, you'll be able to know exactly when to sign up and when to expect for that class to begin. But when that class begins, know that it is no joke. She makes sure she carry you through. Don't let that baby face fool you. She a Pisces rising, but she got a stellium in Virgo, okay? Right. She got a stellium in Virgo just like me. And that means that we don't play in that area of detail. All right, y'all. Thank you, Dale, again. I appreciate you. Thank y'all.
I enjoyed the time, and I love your background, by the way.
Oh, you do? Check it out. Look, when I do my hair back, as you can see, homeboy got the star, he got the sun in his hand, he got the moon in the distance, he got Mars underneath him, he got the earth in his hand. Sounds a little bit like me, you know?
I love it.
All right, Dale, you be safe. Chat with you later.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, y'all. So listen, as you can see, our Dale is an amazing teacher. She's excellent. She's not playing around. For you beginners who just finished your beginner's course, you're going to be getting your certificate in the next week. Just know that you're in great hands, all right? And for y'all who are my tribe members, listen, we've been going through some technical difficulties when it comes to the Akashic records. We didn't forget you. We just got to make sure that everything is aligned. Everyone is aligned in that process. All right, my tribe members, that's what to look forward to next, okay? All right. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. It's been beautiful. Y'all be safe. Oh, what am I doing the beginner's course again? The beginner's course is coming real soon. We're going to make sure I make the announcement on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, through emails or what have you. All right? Just tune in. Be safe.